and thanks for joining me on this winter season adventure with an unpronounceable name. For this, the Triumvirate will be playing in the snow on dirt tracks in B-Class, and this time around we could choose between the Peugeot 205 T16, the Audi Sport Quattro or the Lancia 037 Stradale. The Peugeot was never an option for me because of its ugliness, but that's just my humble opinion. And although I have an Audi built for B-Class and my initial thought was to simply take that one, I did change towards the Lancia, just for fun. So I searched for a proper tune and drove it around while waiting for the event to start and then hope for the best. And when it started, I noticed I was the only one who chose something other than the Audi. Was this a huge mistake on my part, or was it a smart move? The drivators all choosing the same car still feels like a bad move. I still think they should at least have one representative from all three possibilities. So here I am in my different car with a very good launch. I can pass some people, and although I get stuck behind the drivator in the corner, I can get past him easily as well once we are past that corner. The next corner is without shenanigans, so that is nice. There is a teammate in front and I want to avoid hitting him. I try to take a different line from his line, but as always it can be difficult to predict where he's going. A small nudge, nothing too serious, and then I can go past him in the corner. I want to thread the needle between the two drivators, but they completely block me, so I go to the inside. And after passing them, I'm up in second place. First place seems slower, and in the corner I want to get the cutback on him, but he actually was too slow for me, so I stay on the outside and pass him like that. That puts me in first place. Now all I have to do is hold on to it. So just focus and try not to make too many mistakes. We are now heading for the tight corner with after that the long stretch of road. And I actually get a decent run through the corner, helping me build speed for the long stretch. Will my car have sufficient top speed, or will the Audis all come fly by? It seems that I can actually run away from the Audis, so my Lancia is performing very well. The corner at the end of this straight, or at least more or less flat out section depending on the car's handling, is a corner where you see a lot of mistakes. People tend to brake too late for this and end up kissing the wall. When I take it, I usually brake too early to avoid this, but even then I sometimes misjudge it. But the next corner, I find it a really fun one. I really like to brake as late as possible while still making the corner. And I more or less do so, but looking back, not everybody does it as smoothly as you can see a teammate clipping the wall. Now we're back on the dirt, and this section is a dangerous one for me. I always need to keep an eye on the minimap for this section, as there are a couple of more or less blind corners and I tend to forget them. But this time around I actually remember to look at the minimap, so my run is a fairly clean one. And being on my own also helps with this, of course. Well, one final corner and then we head towards the finish line. Looking back at the corner, we can see our teammates sliding all the way through the corner as we finish in first position. My Lancia was not a bad choice as I outran all of the Audis. We do have sufficient points, and unless there are some major shifts, this will be our first victory and our first championship point. The championship called the Triumvirate. I need to practice the pronunciation of that word. Triumvirate. In the meantime, enough people have finished, well, we all finished actually, and our victory is thus secured. Blue team wins the first race, and there is our first point. The odds are now in our favor as we only need one more victory. If Team Drivatar still wants to win, they need to win both upcoming races. Not something we will allow. So, will I be victorious in my next race too? Or will I mess things up Or will other people mess things up for me, like we saw in my previous video? And if you haven't seen that one yet, then I suggest you go check it out. But first, finish this one. Do not go away just yet, as we head towards the Astmore Rally Trail. And as it turns out, I start on the front row. So that must mean the speed gods are with me. And I will try to impersonate the Flash, leaving everybody behind me in a streak of red. You know, these dancing puppets will not stand in my way of victory. But, of course, that is not the way things will pan out. Things will be far more interesting, and that's the nicest thing I can say about this race. It was interesting, so keep your eyes peeled to the screen. First corner, almost first place, and then this. Why does one need enemies with teammates like this? I can only hope to have enough distance between me and him before the next sharp corner. However, I do not have the best of runs, so I think I'm in the risk zone. Coming up to this corner, it, well, obviously is I am in the risk zone. He has no regards for my racing line, and he just wants to pass me regardless of what the consequences are. So now the hunt is on. I hope I can catch him again and show him that racing cleanly is better than whatever it is he's doing. We approach the next sharp corner, and I smell an opportunity. It could also be the exhaust of all the Audis. We get front seat tickets to his little wall ride show. I assume he's expecting a big round of applause for that performance, but he won't be getting it from me. We come to the next section with a lot of hairpin corners, so better get your hands warm for all the applause we will need to give him. And we can see the battle going on in front, and he fought his way to pole position, but in a very similar manner as he passed me. Just shove everybody wide and use them as leverage to get through the corner. I am a little bit late on the brakes, but still right on the tail of this drivatar. And, well, in the next corner, I can pass him. Now I can aim my attention to first place. And, well, look at this. He actually takes the corner rather well. A little bit wide and a small love tap against the wall, but this means he can actually drive properly. Nevertheless, I have a better run in the next corner, and this is what he feels about that. I'm not even going to comment on this. They say an image is worth more than 1,000 words, and I think that this is the case for this situation. And I more or less lose control of my car, and well, that caused some more collisions. But still, I managed to get past him. Do I need to say what will happen next? Well, he does ghost out, but it also made me lose control of my car, and that allowed two people to pass me because of that. And, well, for some reason I had a lot of trouble getting full control over my car, losing even more time. All of this fighting between one another just sucked the fun out of the race, and I was very much in doubt how to handle it. Fight them to show them racing cleanly is the better way, or just not fight them at all. But seeing how this was too close to the finish, I'll be honest and say that I could no longer catch them even if I wanted to. And that means I finish in third place after what can only be described as an idiotic race. We do have an almost perfect score, in complete contradiction with how the race actually was won. That means another victory point for Blue Team. And we can honor the little tradition, the last race, and y'all can say it with me, is for honor only. But will I be able to honorably win the next race? Will I be triumphant and have a glorious victory? Let's go find out in the next race. And the next race is none other then the longest official dirt race in the game, the Gauntlet. Where do I start? For this one I will start in the middle of the pack. The one who decided that my car was a tractor and thus should be used for plowing through the field even though it was in the middle of the winter is starting dead last. So hopefully we can avoid him on the first couple of corners, increasing my odds to win this race, or at least have a decent clean run and not being force-fed winter prairie mud. We gained some positions before the first corner and now I'm afraid of this corner thanks to the previous race. Nevertheless, I get through without any complication. Let's see if we can actually keep this up. Up in 4th place, running on the outside, but still gaining 3rd place. We have done this section also in the first race, so it should go smoothly. Slowly gaining on 2nd, who is a bit all over the place, so I can't avoid the little interaction between the two of us. But I do gain his position as well. And in the next corner I immediately lose that place again, because I was too late on the brakes and had a very bad line through the corner. The hairpin section is back and I can only hope I'm too far ahead for anybody to cause me grievance, while I still chase the 2 private cars in front. I gain 2nd place once more and this time I can keep the position and even gain 1st place as well. Now we are back to the long straight and looking back to see how others take this corner. Not a lot to see as I need to make sure not to miss my own corners. Can I run away from all of the Audis? Can my little Lancia put distance between me and my pursuers? As we head once again for the sharp corner. That is now actually to the left and not the right. And again, as previously, I made sure to brake in time. And we can see I have some distance. Again, looking back, I see tons of cars hugging the wall. And we now come to the Mud Kickers Adventure Park, where I will be careful as the jumps can be quite tricky. I have seen a lot of cars do weird things on these jumps, and I myself have had some grandiose failures on the jumps in this park. But as I keep it rather slow and careful, I am able to avoid all possible misfortune and have a rather clean run through the park. And I think that my advantage is ever so slowly growing. Now I must admit that racing dirt tracks in B class is one of my favorites. I really enjoy these races. And when I noticed that the last race was the Gauntlet, I actually thought about doing a Johnson challenge. You know, letting everybody pass on the start line and then try to finish in 1st place. However, my fear of getting punted into oblivion was just too high. And I also have to admit that I was not too certain I would actually be able to pull it off. Looking at my current position now, it might have been the more fun option. More fun only if my teammates would have kept it more or less clean, that is. And seeing how the last race went, that is rather doubtful. If I would have done that and pulled it off, I would have been so proud. I would be glowing for days. Which my wife would not enjoy as she cannot sleep well with any lights on in the room. So maybe best I did not attempt this Johnson challenge. And we now head for a real dirt section. And apart from the Mud Kickers Adventure Park, where I drove very carefully because of the jumps, this is the first real dirt section, as most of the off-road sections until now were gravel. And it seems that this car is not liking the real dirt at all, as it behaves Very strange, and I'm having some trouble keeping the car under control. It seems to not want to do as I tell it to do. And, well, coming up to this section, I almost lose complete control, clipping that wall, and, well, having a very poor run, but luckily I can straighten my car out again and continue on my merry way. As the Johnson Challenge is out the window, I wanted to get ahead as far as possible. My goal now is to have as many people DNF as possible. However, with these dirt sections, that might become very difficult. And mind you, I do not do this to spite other people, but as a goal for myself. Can I pull this off? Can I actually get a 30-second lead on all of them? But this is yet another slow section for my little car. But I also know there is a road section coming up next, so I hope to be able to run off in the distance, never to be seen or heard of again. If you also want to use this tune, it is created by Teniente MM22 and is called B700 Rally Number 1. I really like the tune for this event, but be careful on actual dirt section, as it does suffer from extreme wiggliness on that surface. You have been warned. And now we are closing in on another section that I actually like a lot. And it was also featured in the previous video. Go check that one out, as that was a very special video where I had very good results in a championship, but we still lost. And, well, mixed results to say the least in the championship where we actually won. The video is called Forza Horizon 4 The Holy Trinity Series 15 Autumn, the Good, the Bad and the Ugly Edition, and will be linked at the end of this video. And this time around I do get quite a good run through here. Could still be better, but at least it was not as bad as most of my runs with the S2 class cars. And I am glad that we did not have to run S2 class cars in this winter setting, as that would have been another nightmare most likely. The three cars we could choose from in this championship, called the Triumvirate, were not the exotic beasts of car we could choose from the last two trials, but rather these lower tiered rally cars. And as I mentioned in the intro, I chose this Lancia purely for fun. I had never driven it before, while I was used to the Audi, but I wanted something different. And it seems that it is indeed quite different, as everybody else chose the Audi. I have the only Lancia, and really nobody decided to take the Peugeot. Does everybody agree that that car is just plain ugly, or is that really just me? Did I now just bring eternal wrath upon me from some viewers that actually like the 205? I have no idea. But me personally, I really do not like the way that car looks. Meanwhile, on this road section, I am having a blast, really enjoying myself with racing through these mostly fast corners. Some caution needs to be taken into account, as there is a lot of snow and I do not know this section all too well, but the car handles like a dream here. Driving in first position for this long and this far ahead can be boring on one hand, but on the other hand can also be fun. The main thing is, do not outrun yourself. Super GT once gave the advice, drive within yourself, in one of his videos, or most likely in multiple of his videos, and I still think this is one of the best pieces of advice I ever heard for racing. It minimizes the chances of ruining your own race. If somebody is truly faster, then you cannot beat them. They are faster. And if you try to be faster than them at that point, which also implies being faster than you can actually handle, It is a guaranteed recipe for disaster. You will bottle it for sure. So that's what I tried to do. Drive within myself, but still push to the limit as much as possible. And well, now the last section emerged, and it happens to be the dirt section next to the Derwent water, and this is a real dirt section, so for sure I will be losing time here, especially with the tight corners, but also with the fast corners where I still have to be careful not to miss the checkpoints. Now I really need to drive within myself, or maybe more accurate, drive within the possibilities of the car. The first part of this section already revealed that I have to drive careful and rather slow for me to make the corners. I had to slow down quite a lot to not hit every wall within a 10-mile radius. I want this section to be over sooner rather than later, but I just have to deal with it for now. The minimap already revealed cars closing in on my position. My position at the top might even be in danger if I make a mistake now. That would be a major catastrophe for my enormous ego. Not sure I would be able to handle that. Now where is that finish line? I need that finish line and I need it now. Looking at the road ahead, sweat starts pouring down my face, irritating my eyes as I try to find the checkered flag. Please, little Lancia, do not forsake me now. Keep it together, deliver us from evil and bring us to the finish line. But continuing on this road, it seems I start collecting more and more of the environment on my hood. I do not want these extra hood ornaments. I just want to make it to the finish line in one piece. The finish line is now visible on the minimap and will shortly be visible on the screen. Get me there, take me home, country road, to the place I belong. The last straight. I am home free. I will cross the finish line in first place. I think the Audis could actually gain quite a lot on me on this last section, so let's see the result. Second place is only 7 seconds behind, so he did a good job as well, but he also had a little gap. And then third comes in, fourth comes in, and fifth and sixth all come in. I was not able to get any DNFs in our team. Too bad for me, but at least that is nice for them. They all get to finish. Last race was for honor only, and I think I defended mine quite well. We have a third championship point, and that makes us championship winners. The Triumvirate completed and won with 3 points in the pocket. That is one ugly car, well deserved. A very fun championship, and I hope you enjoyed this video as well. And if you did, press the thumbs up or any of those other wonderful little buttons you can choose from. And I recommend you watch one of the linked videos for another glorious time. Just as glorious as the prize that will be bestowed upon me. For sure. See? That is another 40,000 smackaroonies. How glorious is that? I do hope to see you in the next video or one of the previous one. I don't care. Just pick any. They are all fun to watch.